Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be mastering the JS2 PDW in Battlefield 4. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, what the heck is the JS2? I've never heard of this gun. It is a gun in Battlefield 4. It's been in the game for quite a while. But the easiest way to think of this gun and how it performs is that it's just a Chinese version of the P90. Although in real life it shoots an entirely different round than the P90. It fires the very common 9mm round, where the P90 fires the custom FN57 round. But when it comes to damage stats, the P90 and the JS2 are very similar in BF4. Now the main similarities between these two weapons in game is the fact that they both shoot 900 rounds per minute and they both carry 50 round magazines. This means you can do a lot of spray and pray before you need to think about reloading. The damage model between both guns is almost identical, although the P90 does slightly more. The JS2 does 20 damage max while the P90 does 21 max. They both drop off to the same damage in the long run though. Now this gun is going to be a 5-shot kill in close quarters, that's 8 meters or closer, but beyond that the drop off goes all the way down to 11.2 damage at around 55 meters, and that's going to be a 9-shot kill at extreme range. So you're really not going to want to aim for long range targets too much unless you have a feeling they're not going to be shooting back at you or they're already hurt. Now without question, this gun excels at close quarter engagements. In fact, if you think about it, since most assault rifles have a 24 damage maximum, you're still going to be getting a 5-shot kill just like an assault rifle would in close quarters, except you've got a nice 900 round per minute rate of fire and a 50 round magazine. So you actually have quite a lot of killing potential in super close quarter combat, but beyond that you start to lose out to all the other weapons. And unfortunately, just because of the map design in Battlefield, you're not going to see too many benefits of this gun unless you're playing extremely close quarter TDM style maps. Now I did mess around with this gun in some conquest game modes, and you'll see that footage here in a little bit, and it was somewhat successful, but I had to really force myself into hanging out on the points and really being careful about when I went out into open areas. So it really restricted my movement and how I would approach any combat situation. And I don't necessarily like those kind of restrictions. So I mean, if you have the option to pick any gun, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to pick the JS2 for the engineer class when you have all these carbines available to you. And that's always been the play of the PDW in this game. Now of course the main benefits of the PDWs and the JS2 is the fact that it's going to be very accurate when shooting from the hip. So you have a slight reaction time benefit in CQB combat where you don't necessarily need to always aim down sights. However, you will be more accurate when aiming down sights, and it's so integrated to my style of gaming that I prefer to aim down sights whenever possible, and I only hip fire when somebody is like right in my face. Now when starting off with this weapon, I was messing around with the suppressor and laser sight to get good accurate hip fire and be stealth on the mini map. I pretty quickly started upgrading to using, I tried a heavy barrel for a little bit, and then I ended up using just the muzzle brake on there to reduce a little bit of the vertical recoil and kind of extend the range at which I thought I could kill people with this gun. It still wasn't that effective at long range, but I enjoyed the muzzle brake just to try and reduce the recoil a little bit. You won't be able to put an underbarrel attachment on this gun. As you can see, it's already kind of got a built-in foregrip, so you're a little bit limited in that department. Now ultimately I ended up taking the laser sight off of this gun for the reason that I take it off almost every single gun that I use, is the fact that if you have a gun that's already good at hip fire, then generally speaking when you need to hip fire, you're close enough that the laser sight isn't going to make that big of a difference in terms of your accuracy, and at further ranges it's just going to give away your position. Now you could get used to turning the laser sight on and off, but on the PC and probably on controller that means taking your fingers off of the movement keys or the action keys, then it basically creates a split-second situation in which case you're not immediately ready to engage an opponent, and that's just something that I like to avoid whenever possible. In fact, if you watch my key binding video a while ago, I talk about my philosophy of key binding and just basically how you can set up your controls in a way so that you're always ready for action and you're never limiting your mobility or your ability to reload or fire your weapon. Now here I'm in one of those outdoor situations where I'm able to try and force my enemies to come in a little bit closer to me. I even get a little bit lucky in some of these firefights and stay alive, but you'll see right here as I come over this mound, I'm going to see somebody in the distance. They're not shooting back at me until the very end, but I'm able to finish off a kill there. He probably already had damage done to him because I didn't hit him that many times. You can see just where the massive limitations of this weapon are as soon as you get any distance between yourself and your opponents. And again, we're on Conquest here, and I'm just keeping it close quarters, fighting for control over these flags, indoor areas, not subjecting myself to long-range firefights, and I'm being fairly effective with the weapon when I'm doing that specifically. But but as soon as I have to move off the point, go to a different flag, and go outdoors, that's where I become very, very ineffective. So as long as I can jump between the 2 points on the center of this map, then I can make PDWs work and the JS2 work, but it's just not a flexible weapon. And honestly, Battlefield is one of those games where you have to be flexible and adaptable at all times. You can't have a gun that's not going to be good at long range when you're playing at a very big long range map. Now, if you happen to be a big fan of PDWs, regardless of their inflexibility in Battlefield 4, there's several reasons why you might want to use the JS2 over something like, say, the P90, even though they're very similar. The JS2 reloads faster than the P90, it has a lower first shot recoil overall, and it also has more accurate aiming down sight fire. Not much more accurate, but a little bit more accurate. Its caveat is that its muzzle velocity is a little bit slower than the P90, and its hipfire is also not quite on par with the P90. The P90 is without a doubt geared much more towards the hipfire realm, while the JS2 is trying to be a little bit more adaptable, but still good at hipfire overall. Now, when forced into a map like Guilin Peaks here on Team Deathmatch, this can be a real nuisance if you're playing with a lot of players, because it ends up being a lot of long range action. That's why I've kind of shifted over to playing TDM on smaller maps whenever possible, or smaller player counts rather. So I've been playing here with 24 players maximum, I believe, and that allows much more movement in the maps. If you can't move around and if things are real choke pointed, then PDWs become even more worthless than they generally already are. Now, if you caught that in a clip just a second ago, I got my little JS2 Mastery dog tag, the 500 kill indicator. I certainly didn't get it in one day. I've been working on this gun for quite a while. It's a fun little gun, but you have to be in the right situations to take advantage of it. So I hope this video helps you guys decide if you want to run with the JS2, and if so, how you want to run with the JS2 to be most effective with it. Let me know in the comments down below which weapon you'd like me to master next. There's a list of the remaining ones in the video description, and as always guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.